that you have everything in order?
Yes, sir.
What have I told you to repeatedly call me, you peon?
Your lordship, sir.
That is correct. If you ever do not call me by your lordship again, then you will be severely punished.
Yes, sir, your lordship, sir.
I assume that the target is in the sights of this ship.
Yes, sir, your lordship, sir.
Then, on the count of 3, we will fire and take over the Knights of the Braille. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, lordship, sir. Sir, I have one question, though.
Yes?
Are you wanting to hit the button on the count of 3, or, like, right after 3, do we hit the button?
Good help is so hard to find. Can we not hit the button? What was that?
Your pizza is ready, sir.
How many times have I told you all that we do not eat until after we are victorious?
Yes, sir, your lordship, sir. I do apologize, but the microwave did go off.
Microwave pizza again? Do you not understand that we are fixing to take over the Knights of the Braille?
Yes, sir, I do understand that, your lordship, sir, but you did order...
Will you get on with the task?
Yes, sir, your lordship, sir.
Okay, you peon captain. Aim the laser.
It is aimed, sir.
I know that. But I'm doing it for dramatic effect, you understand?
Yes, your lordship, sir.
Very well. Do not interrupt me again. Do you understand? That does mean answer.
Yes, sir, your lordship, sir.
Okay, on the count of 3. I hit the button at, hold on, look at, yeah, I hit the button at 3. 1, 2, 3. What was that?
The laser did not work, sir.
Why did it not work?
Battery malfunction, sir.
How many times have I told you all not to buy the store brand batteries? We must use name brand. How am I ever going to take over the Knights of the Braille with such idiotic help?
Yes, sir, your lordship, sir. Hey everybody, this is Richard for Knights of the Braille. I'm doing a solo gig today. Going to go over a few things here before we get to the creator of the Star Wars 5e universe. I want to talk about the KWF here, the Knights Wrestling Federation. It is a play-by-post tabletop role-playing game that is still a work in progress, combining both the Squared Circle as well as Worldwide Wrestling by Nathan Paoletta. Be sure to look up both of those on Drive-Thru RPG. It is, of course, like I just said, still a work in progress, but you can join at any time, even though other people may eventually get to level 10. That does not mean that you cannot join at level 1. that is the beauty of the play-by-post format with the Knights Wrestling Federation, is that anybody can join at any given time. So be sure to jump in and join if you're interested. I will be more than happy to help you create a character, or be sure to download the step-by-step guide, as well as check the podcast feed for the guide on how to do it. Again, would love to have you. Hope you're enjoying the KWF. I also wanted to announce that there is a new game coming up every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 10 a.m. Central, where it is a player versus player type of thing called the Thursday Throwdown. Be sure to check out that channel. Anyone can have access to that and jump in and play it anytime. This upcoming Thursday will be at level 2. It is a lot of fun. I have jumped in and had a character in that, and it was a blast. Lobo does a fantastic job, and you have heard his voice on both the Rhymers as well as the Star Wars 5e Star Knights podcast. Again, we hope that you are having fun. That is some of the news that is going on with Knights of the Braille, with my games that I run. Again, just know that the Knights Wrestling Federation is a play-by-post and is a ongoing process to try to convert to the play-by-post format, because they are intended for tabletop role-playing game in person. So it is a work in progress. Some things do not work for play-by-post, so it is a modification. But we would love to have you. You can contact me on Discord, Bean7483, #1561. Look me up on Twitter at RichardBean83. I'm also on Facebook. I do control the Knights of the Braille Facebook group. And you can also email me at DALEJUNIORFAN83@gmail.com. Again, we would love to have you. I am also searching and asking for anyone out there who's ever had a fun idea for a commercial or a product. It does not need to be serious. It can be serious if you so wish it to be, but to please record it and send it to me so that we can break up some of these longer podcasts with a commercial in there to kind of give you a little bit of a break to catch your breath and to regroup. Jim is running a play-by-post Warhammer fantasy game, as well as a Warhammer fantasy where they meet on the Discord every other Sunday afternoon, I believe. Jim is also running a zombie game that he converted from the Alien RPG format, using a lot of it. It is a lot of fun. I have jumped in there with him as well. So it is a lot of fun, and it meets every other Saturday. If you have any questions, feel free again to contact me or Jim. We'll be more than happy to help you out. If there's anyone out there who is looking for a game, we're also looking for other game masters to run a variety of games, whether it is Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, or any other role-playing game out there. Also, there is a Dungeon World campaign being run by Matt, also known as Blind Fury. You have heard him here on the podcast before. He is the most intelligent one of the three of us, of course. If you're interested in Dungeon World, I'm sure you can contact him, and he will be willing to answer any questions that you may have. I do believe that is it for me right now. So again, thank you for listening, and I'm going to combine this and let you hear the interview with Stephen.
Hello, r/blind. Have you ever wanted to play Dungeons & Dragons? Well, Knights of the Braille has a Discord server. Simply click the link below to join. We host sessions for new players. No site? No problem. We have accessible character sheets and dice rolling apps. we make it easy so that anybody can play. Join Knights of the Braille today.
Hey everybody, I'm Richard. Unfortunately, Jim could not be with us today because he decided he wanted to wander outside and he got lost for whatever reason. You know, we know he's Canadian, so and British at the same time, so we can't help that. But anyway, I'm doing a solo adventure today in a pun for Star Wars. And to give you the traditional warning, you know, I may offend you, although we all know it's Jim or Jesse that usually offends you. So if you're easily offended, then I suggest that you hit stop or delete and move on with your life. We are Knights of the Braille, and today I have a very special guest with me. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I have the creator of the Star Wars 5e universe, tabletop role-playing game, or adventure, whatever you want to call it, with me. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, so you may know me as Gallifile, but in real life I go by Steven.
Alright, so would you prefer me to call you Gallifile or Steven?
Whatever feels natural, I don't care.
I can call you an Ewok then.
Alright,
But anyway, I do appreciate you coming on the episode with us. Like I said, I am a huge Star Wars fan. I'm not as knowledgeable about most of the lore as I would like to be, but you know, that is what it is whenever there's so much other information in my head that I can't take it all in. I do have a few questions for you here. We'll try to keep it brief so that, you know, we can all get back to our real life. How long have you been playing tabletop role-playing games in general?
I started probably about 7 years ago. A buddy invited me to a 3.5 game. We played about half a dozen sessions and then actually migrated to 5th edition because it was right about when 5th edition came out, so 7 years ballpark, I don't know exactly. Played through that campaign, lasted 10 or 20 sessions, something like that, and then from there I haven't really played. I've been exclusively DMing, basically.
Isn't it always fun, like, you start off as playing and then, like, we need a DM, and you either volunteer or voluntold to be a DM, and then you hardly ever get to play anymore?
Yep, I volunteered. I created a new play group, but forever DM.
Awesome. I do enjoy it. I of course run the Star Wars 5e campaign out here, and I DM for another group which is in D&D 5e, and currently we're doing the Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. I'm one of those that prefer the pre-written because that's less work, less time that I actually had to devote to it, because there's not a whole lot of time when you think about it.
Right.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer the pre-written, or you straight up homebrew, or kind of a combination?
So I've run Lost Mines of Phandelver, and then from there I've done all homebrew. So I prefer homebrew, I think, rather than writing pre-existing adventures, because I can kind of guide the story where I want it to go, and I like to improv more than pre-plan. So I think it's easier for me to just do homebrew.
Right, I can understand that. In fact, that's what the Star Wars 5e group is doing. Actually it's the Lost Mines of Kessel that can be found on the SW5e server. Shameless plug there for the group. And the way I usually do it is I'll take like the pre-written campaign and kind of add a little bit of flavor in there to it. Use it as a baseline, and then go off from there.
Right.
But we'll get into a little bit more Star Wars stuff here. What's your favorite Star Wars character?
I'm pretty basic, so Han Solo. I enjoy the Jedi, I enjoy the Sith, but I've always been more gravitated more towards like the smuggler scoundrel type.
I got you. I'm a Chewbacca fan, of course, and then Darth Maul. Because that was one of the last movies that I actually saw before I lost my sight, and the way he looked was just really, really cool to me. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of his.
Yeah, that's pretty much still the case. He's still probably the most badass looking Sith.
Yes. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, granted, you had Darth Sidious, but he just, to me, what I remember is he looked just like an old man.
Yep.
What's really cool about that?
That's it. He's an old man with a really wrinkled face and a cowl. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back, easily. It's the best of all 11 movies now by a landslide.
Yeah, we could get into a discussion about the new ones that they're bringing out, but we'll try to keep this on a happy up tier topic.
Right.
But when did you said you started playing about 7 years ago or so? When did Star Wars 5e come out? When did you get the idea of it?
So that play group I established, we played through Lost Mines of Phandelver, and then I wrote a campaign based on Baldur's Gate because none of them had played that. After we finished the Baldur's Gate campaign, I offered to try to write something for a play in Star Wars instead. And one of the guys I played with, his name was Ricky. Was really big into Star Wars like I am. The other two, liked it but weren't obsessed. So I wrote something pretty quick over the course of about a month. It's really, really bad. There was only 4 classes. I didn't do any species, I don't think, or maybe like a dozen species, something like that. Backgrounds were copy pasted from 5e. So it was really bad. We played it for about 6 months, and then that group fell apart, and I kind of put it on the back burner, and then didn't really touch it again until I moved to Kentucky 4 years ago. And I started my current job in April of 2018, and that's when I had a lot of idle time at work, so I started working on this again in earnest, and then finally the first public release was June 2018.
Right, not that you're working on this during work time, though. We have to put that out there so that you don't get in trouble.
Yeah, definitely not doing that.
What made you decide to start it? Was it just your sheer love of Star Wars, or did you want something different than straight up just D&D 5e?
It was really, I wanted to change a pace from like the traditional D&D sword and sorcery stuff. Yeah, and I really like Star Wars, so it was really both of those things together.
I gotcha. See, I'm asking the good questions. Unlike Jim, who is usually the co-host and the one who created Knights of the Braille. Like I said, he's British Canadian. We have to forgive him. I had recently come across this post. I guess it was like a news headline or article that they were worried about the Star Wars 5e project, the ongoing project going down because of Disney and their copyright issues. Have you run into any problems with it?
I have not had any issues with the content that I've written and released. So on the Dungeons and Dragons, which is the Coast side, the player's handbook does go well beyond the SRD. So I could be shut down by Wizards, and then obviously the Star Wars IP I could be shut down by Disney. I don't profit. I don't really care about profiting off this. I basically make enough money to pay for the website because I wouldn't pay that out of pocket because it's like $200 a month. And that's really all. So otherwise I've had zero issue from any legal body, knock on wood.
Right, and that's a good thing because, the group that I run and myself, we absolutely love it. Because as a kid, watching the movies, like, I can't wait. I wish I could be a Jedi, or
right.
Like in your case, I'm sure you're like, I'd love to be Han Solo, and to get the chance to do that it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I can't find anybody who's willing to run a Star Wars 5e campaign so that I could actually be a Jedi, but it is what it is. That's why I created a C-3PO type droid called Johnny 6, and I get to annoy the crap out of them because none of them will, take on the responsibility and run a game.
There you go.
I notice I'm not very active on the Star Wars 5e Discord, unfortunately, because there's so many other people. I get lost in the messages. But
Yep.
I do keep up with the new species or new race that seems to be posted about every week on Thursdays, I believe. Go ahead.
Yeah, yep. So they're expanded content. I release something every Thursday, usually an archetype or a species. I need to get more backgrounds out in the world, or just like customization options. I've got some stuff I'm working on right now that I'll release eventually, but I'm not happy with yet.
Right. What has been your favorite species that you have come up with so far?
That I personally wrote, I probably like Deveronian. I think that's probably my favorite species as far as from a design perspective. And then I always play Chiss personally.
Right. I know I've looked at several of the species and everything that I've come across. Should I say, I have not found anything that I couldn't access that did not have a good description of what the species or the creature looked like. And I, for one, as I'm sure most other blind people who have come across this, really enjoyed the descriptions, the detailedness of them, because it brings it to a visualization, in our imagination. So thank you for that, most definitely.
Well, I can't really take credit for those. Most of that comes from Wikipedia, which is what like the number one source is for like flavor-based content rather than mechanics.
Okay, I got you. So where do I guess you specifically come up with your ideas for the different things that you put into the SW5E content?
Most of it comes from discussion usually. So we'll just talk about stuff, get an idea and just talk about it and talk about it on the Discord, and then somebody might make a suggestion, or I just might have some kind of epiphany, and then from there I just develop content using, trying to use existing mechanics, polishing or updating them as needed to fit new ideas.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like I keep a bunch of working documents in GM Binder, which is where everything is written. And
Yeah.
whenever I have an epiphany or any kind of breakthrough, I always make sure to take notes of it quickly.
And that's also a very accessible website for people listening out there, is the GM Binder. That's where I run the Lost Mines of Kessel, as a base guideline from. Very, very accessible. As far as like the new characters, new species, things like that, can anyone submit characters to you?
So what they do is on the Discord, it's broken down by types. So there's class chapters, one for each of the 10 classes, in which people can input archetype ideas, or if they have species, they can submit them in the species channel. And then from there, I'll usually go through and I'll pluck a few and clean up the language and just like basically polish it to fit in line with the other one.
Right.
Other ones, and then from there, I keep a list of stuff that's all ready to go. And then on Wednesdays, all of the patrons have access to a private channel in the Discord, and they get to vote on what the expanded content release will be for Thursday.
Awesome. Whenever you started this, I'm sure the answer is going to be no, but did you intend it to be accessible? I know like sighted people can use the site, but as far as someone using a screen reader, had you ever thought about that, or was it intended to be accessible?
That is not something that had ever come to mind to me. It's just not something I've ever really had to think about. I know there are blind people can't obviously just read the site like normal, so it has to be accessible for that. And then there's also people who don't speak English well, same idea. So Spanish and Russian are the two that are the most popular, most commonly asked for. And it's beyond me personally. I don't speak either of those languages to translate, and I have no web development skills. So as far as making the website accessible, I'm more than happy to make changes and to update and adjust things to make it more accessible for people, but it's definitely not something I considered when we started.
And I wasn't trying to put you on the spot, but yet I was
Sure.
trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
It's not something, and you're not alone. It's not something that a lot of people or game developers actually think of, because and it goes along with the blind community or visually impaired community as well. Out of sight, out of mind. If it doesn't concern you directly, then you don't think about it. I know me personally, it's one of those things that happens to me. So we're not upset. We do appreciate the accessibility that is there, and I for one appreciate, every time I've contacted Zach,
I think
that
it's Zach, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's fantastic. Been extremely helpful, and so is the entire community. On Facebook, and I'm not on I don't follow it on Twitter, but I don't get on Twitter a whole lot anymore. But the I know that on the website, like I said, it's extremely accessible. I have tried using the character builder, and unfortunately, like D&D Beyond's, it's usable for somebody who has low vision, but I've run into a little bit of issue like with the screen reader. But I mean, I've created enough characters that it's not one of those things that I necessarily have to use. I was just
Right.
trying it like for ease of use because I hate doing math, and yet I play and run mini games. So, but that, as far as I can recall, that is the only thing that I've come across that's not fully accessible, and I can use it. So like I said, we do appreciate everything that you do, or that the whole entire community does actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there I know on the SW5E Discord, are there any places that someone who may be looking for a game can go find one and join in?
So LFG, obviously, there's always more people looking for a game than there are DMs looking for players. So we don't support LFG on the Discord. It's not that, it's a development Discord. It's not for that. There's a channel for DMs who are looking for players, and they will post their games and what they're looking for, and players can apply to them directly through
Right.
private messages. But as far as for LFG, that's not what our Discord is for. So no.
Right. I know, like I said, I'm a member of the Discord because I do get the notifications when, something new is posted by you, to go out there and check it, or get onto the Reddit and check it. But as far as like being active in there, not that I don't have the time, but it's like there's so many other people out there. By the time I get ready to post something, there's like 20 other ones ahead of me. And
Yep.
with the screen reader, it's not one of the easiest things to do.
Sure.
But I know we had introduced you earlier as Gallifile or Stephen. How did you come up with the last name? Because whenever I see you post, it's like I just love the last name.
I don't know what you mean.
Pops up Stephen Palpatine.
Oh, Steve Palpatine. Oh, on Discord. Yeah. So
Yes,
that's a joke because that's the Emperor's name. The Emperor's name is Sheev Palpatine, and so it was just a natural pun to change that to Steve Palpatine.
Well, me personally, I am a Sith fan because I mostly play like evil or characters like that. So of course, I absolutely loved it whenever I heard it, and I think it's fantastic. But is there any other thing that you'd like to say or comment on before we close out for today?
No, not unless you got more questions for me. I could talk about this all day.
Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to come up with more questions than what I had. I was struggling with those. I'm more one of those people that just like, will talk back and forth and,
Sure.
do things like that. And that's the way that Jim and I usually are. So, let's see if I can think of any other, like, right off the cuff. I'm the one being put on the spot now.
Yeah.
Have you ever run across anybody else who is blind or visually impaired that's playing in the Star Wars universe?
No, you were the only person. I mean, I know obviously there has to be other people, but you're the only person I've known specifically, visually impaired that plays, at least for Star Wars 5e. I don't know about other games. I don't follow them, but
Right. I got you. That is something I do want to talk to you about. Of course, whenever I'd run a couple of one-shots before I got familiar and comfortable enough with the rules to run a campaign, was actually before I found the pre-written ones out there that are pinned and anybody can get to from GM Binder. I know you can't exactly call him Darth Maul, but there is like the Darth Maul-esque type character out there that, of course, you can copy and paste as a villain. Was that something that you had created, or is that something that other people had submitted to you?
that was definitely not me. For monster stat blocks that are appropriate for like players to fight, I write very, very few of those. I wrote the first version of the Monster Manual of Scum and Villainy by myself, But since then, I don't write monsters anymore. I rely on other people to do it because I don't like doing it.
Right, I got you. But it was a lot of fun to take him and wipe the party out. I mean, not that I did that specifically for that purpose by any means, but it was a lot of fun to play. But I guess that's really about it. We'll have a short one this week, and Mr. Steven, I do appreciate you stopping by and talking with us and doing all that you do for us.
Absolutely.
And everybody, we will hear you next week.